Hey everybody, how you doing? Hobbies here. So today will be almost 2 months with my beehive, and today I'm going to actually inspect the second deep I put on 2 weeks ago. So I want to put on hopefully a super today because we're getting close here in Georgia. We've got a lot of pollen, we've got a lot of things blooming, so the honey flow gets started early down here. So I want to inspect this second deep box I put on there. When I put this on 2 weeks ago, the first deep box I had was getting pretty much full. Almost every frame, my 10 frame deep, was filled. So this was completely empty when I put it on 2 weeks ago. And I found out that a strong hive can fill almost 2 to 2.5 frames, or fill a frame every 2.5 days. So that was 2 weeks ago. So you're looking at 7 frames almost, hopefully, if my beehive is strong. And that's right around when they say you should add another box, 70 to 80% full. Add yourself another box. So right now I'm going to go light the smoker, get that warmed up. Which sorry, I'm not more prepared here. Oh, okay. Sorry, that was a delay. I know when we watch videos, we don't like to delay. But anyway, I threw some paper in the bottom here, as you can see. I'm gonna light that up, get that warmed up, because it has been raining here. So I believe my bees are gonna be kind of agitated because it's cloudy out and it's supposed to thunderstorm later on tonight. So bees, they don't like to be messed with when it's fixing to rain or thunderstorm. So I know they're gonna be a little bit agitated today. But like I said, I need to get in here to see what they're doing. I probably don't need to because they're bees. What I want not to happen is for them to swarm on me, so that's why I'm getting in here. So let's get this heated up. And then today, like I said, we're gonna look for obviously a laying queen. And if you don't find your queen, they always say as long as you have eggs, larvae, brood, that's good. Yesterday I was out here, I saw a lot of drone bees flying around, which are the big ones. They're really cool because they make a lot bigger sound than the smaller queen bees. But anyway, so like I said, I'm a new beekeeper. I'm just learning as I go. We got that kind of heated up. Throw some straw on here. That's one thing we have down here in Georgia, plethora, is pine straw, which is nice. So stick that in there like so. And you get that a couple of puffs on there. May have went out. No, it didn't go out. So we're getting it going here. Nice and smoky. That's what we want. Nice and smoky. Yeah. This is gonna be my protection today. Usually I come out, well, I don't have a bee suit on. I'm just gonna put my veil on because I don't know, I just don't like wearing a bee suit. Maybe one day I will, especially down here in Georgia. As you may know, we do have Africanized bees in the south. Not so much in Georgia, but they're infiltrating in Florida, which I know, and they're coming this way. So, you know, you may have, well, one thing nice about bee keeping is that you have 21 days. So let's say your queen goes out and mates with an Africanized drone, because they say the Africanized drones actually kill off your European drones. So let's say they go out, kill that drone. You still have 21 days from the time she lays an egg, it goes to larva and they hatch. But you don't want to come out here and say, oh, my bees they're calm, and all of a sudden you get attacked. So having that bee suit is nice. But being out here every day, you can kind of get your temperament, which I want to learn. More and more beekeepers are trying to not getting their hives every day, because that does agitate them. I mean, it's like your neighbor coming over to your house every day. You don't want that. You know, maybe once a month, not too bad, but every day coming over, not so much. So let's get my veil on. Let's get this open. Let's see what happens. Putting this thing on. I need to get a new veil one day. This is kind of a two-piece system, but it's not too bad. So we got this on. All right. Yeah, one thing, I went over to the place I buy bee equipment. I actually got a queen picker-upper because I'm not, like I said, I'm brand new, so I don't really know how to pick up the queens. And one thing they say with adding a super without a queen excluder is a plastic thin sheet that has really tiny holes in it that only the female bees can get up through, then the queen can't. So, but they say if you don't put a queen excluder on there, and you don't have drawn out comb, which I don't have drawn out comb, this is actually comb that's not drawn out. It's brand new. It's coated with wax, which they say if you don't use wax coating, the bees won't even draw it out. So you gotta have at least wax coating on there. But this actually puts them behind because you know, they have to build the comb. So if you put in, say, frames from last year that already have drawn out comb, you can possibly put a queen excluder on there because they don't have to work as hard. But since mine are blank, I'm not gonna put that on there. But since I'm not gonna put it on there, I'm gonna have to monitor it and make sure the queen is not laying eggs in there because I just want honey up here. So we're gonna see how that goes. It's all a learning process for me. So anyway, all right, so we got our hive tool. I actually have duct tape on here. I'm gonna smoke them a little bit, smoke the entrance. See how that does. Okay. And I'm gonna do the top here. I wouldn't be strong. I wouldn't doubt today if I didn't get stung, but hopefully I won't. Lord willing. Let's lift this up. Put a little smoke under here. Okay. Put this smoker right here. And they always say when you lift this up, make sure that you don't see your queen on there. Let's see. I don't see her, so I'm going to put this off to the side. Lay it right there gently, and I want to knock things down. Actually, a squash bee on top there. Okay, so I'm looking down through here, and I see 1, 2, 3, 4, possibly 5 frames of honeycomb. You can actually see this is honey on top here. So they are actually putting honey in here. So what I'm going to do is just pull out this one frame right here. Right here is a drone. That looks like a drone. Maybe not. That's a drone bee, I think, right there. Another thing I'm looking for is swarm cells. So I think what I want to do is just crack this and look underneath. Nah, I'm just going to look through the frames on the top here. Let's throw this in here like that, smoke them down, see what happens. You can see them get kind of irritated. So let's pull this out, this one frame here, push them over, push it over, and then lift it up. Let's lift it up here. I don't really have to worry on this last one here because I don't see a lot of bee activity. There is some. See, I do get them pissed off because I'm not very gentle sometimes. Okay, so you can see bee activity on there, but no comb being drawn out. So let's put this off to the side here. Just gonna stand this like right here. Is there anything on the bottom? Let's stand it up like this. I wish I had a frame. I said that last time in my last video. I wish I had a frame holder, which I don't. I'm just gonna stand it right here. See if I can get the bees out of the way. All right, so yeah, we got down below, there's a ton of bees. You know, one thing nice having honey here. Oh, I got one on me. All right, he's gonna sting me. Here he goes. He pulled it out. That's where I got stung last time. I wish I wouldn't shake like that. It's not that bad, Keith. So you can see on there, I got stung. I think I'm gonna let that one pump in there a little bit because I actually have arthritis in my wrist, and they say that, you know, bee venom is good for inflammation. I can feel it stinging right now, so I'm just gonna let that pump in there a little bit. Yeah, you can actually see it throbbing. Let's smoke it a little bit more. You know, I think the sting doesn't hurt. It's just I get the heebie-jeebies with things crawling on me, and I think that's what's worse, which I gotta stop doing that. Because it doesn't even hurt, really. So I'm going to let that in there for a little bit. I can feel it pumping. That's cool. Unfortunately, yeah, killed a bee again, so. All right, so what they say, what you want to do is you don't want to squeeze these. You just want to flick them off. See that? So just flick it off, beep, and it's off. All right. So let's look some more. I see I got another couple around me. I think that was because, you know, like when I'm pulling these frames out, I think I roll bees, but they say you shouldn't do. Anyway, let's move this out of the way. So I don't really, so the second frame, they're still not, they haven't drawn anything out on that yet. So here we are 2 weeks, and what I say, every 2.5 days they build a frame. So they're actually kind of slow, maybe, I don't know. I'm looking at the bottom box down there, a ton of bees down there, which is interesting. I think I'm gonna pull this one out too, gently. As you can see, there is no comb being drawn on this one, just bees. So I'll put this one here too. Gentle. Okay, so, all right, so we're on our third one here. I don't want to get too much smoke in here. Put this over here. Kind of pissing them off. So let's move this one out of the way. Get this one here. All right, so we have drone brood on top here, which is nice. Bunch of larvae. Let's see if I can see any eggs on here. I see nectar. You can see up in the corners. You can see that up here and right here. That's honey. So on this frame right here, we have, there's nothing on the back side. They haven't got to that yet. But on this frame here, we have drone brood because it's kind of flat and sandpaper look. But there's a lot of larvae on here. So that means the queen's been on this frame 2 to 3 days ago. And right now they're they're capping it over. I would like to see some eggs on there. It's kind of fun to see some of the bees' heads stuck down in there. They're feeding the larvae. They're capping the honey over. But this next one's got a lot of bee activity on there. Lots of bee activity. So let me do a little bit more smoking on top here. Get out of the day. Yep, see how they go down? That's what you want. All right, so we have a little, I wouldn't say cross combing, but it's, you know, it's pretty thick. Oh, yeah. That's nice. Very thick honey. All right, let's pick this one up right here, here. Yeah, this one is heavy. Wow. Okay, so I do have some spotty brood hatching though. That's one thing that kind of worries me. But as I learned from a guy online, he said, don't judge it by one frame. Because if you look on here, you can see a lot of spotty brood on it. You see how a lot of it's open, a lot of it's closed. I don't think that's good, but what do I know? There's a lot of nectar in here. I think I'm gonna add a super on here because it seems like a lot of honey on these frames. That one's really thick. They really got that one poured out. Put this one down in there. And one thing you can see, I'm kind of like struggling because this thing is so tall. Usually when beekeepers have their beehives, you know, you're working on kind of bent over like this. So I do need to get this either a ladder out here or a, you know, get this down on some cement blocks or something. It's getting more and more difficult to mess with this stuff as they're getting older. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move this way and I'm gonna just rotate these frames as I go. So I'm gonna take a frame from back here, move it here, and as I do my inspections throughout the year, I learned from a guy online, you just keep moving that frame this way. So like I said, you know, beekeeping is kind of an art form. And the more you learn about bee biology and how the hive works, the better beekeeper you'll be. So that's interesting. All right, so my goal now is to see, oh, I gotta break this apart here. It's just to see if my queen is laying pretty good. So far, it doesn't seem like she's really sporadic. I don't know why. I mean, the bees are growing though, don't get me wrong. Well, this one's real light. But I tell you what, the droop pattern on this one is good. So, like I said, that's what that guy told me. Okay, so this is drawn out comb on this side. I see nectar. I just want to see if I can see eggs in there somewhere. Gosh, I see larvae. But yeah, it's really spotted. Okay, so now I just saw if you could see, that's pretty interesting. Oh, it just fell there. But on the table here is a piece of larva. It looks like one of the bees pulled out one of the larvae, whether it was dead or it had some type of disease on it, I'm not sure. But I've heard that bees are very hygienic, so if a larva or something is not right in their hive, they'll get rid of it and throw it out. And that was interesting because as soon as I pulled it out, I saw it just landed right there. Once I put this back, I'll show it to you. But yeah, and it could be too that my frames are brand new, so I'm not gonna get, you know, perfectly looking frames. And I would say the biggest thing is I'm not sure what I'm looking at a lot, you know, so it's all a learning process, Keith. Relax, just relax. All right, let's push this over. Uh-oh, may I squeeze? I don't like doing that. When you hear that pop, I want to do it gentle. So let's try to slide this over. Slide it over. All right. Slide this one over. Not a lot of whole propolis up here, but so I don't even know why I'm still looking at the frames. I probably could put it back together, but I just like looking at them. It's really cool. All right, let's smoke this a little bit here. I just want to get these down. Just so I can pull it back a little bit. But I am seeing a lot of honey, which is good, so that's good. All right, let's pull this one out slowly. Okay, so, you know, if you ask me, all this is looking very, very strange. I haven't really looked at the queen up here. I haven't seen her, so I haven't really been looking, but this is actually very, very good drawn comb they got here. I see their honey stores right here. I think I am going to put a super up here. I don't know. Because you can see them eating the honey, drawing it over. So I got to learn. The honey that's down in their beet boxes, is that for them? Which I know it's for them. But what does that say to me as far as putting the super on top? I need to join a bee club. I tell you what, the bottom is very, very full of bees. It's very active. So that's good. So what I say, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 good frames of activity. I think this bee wants to sting me. Go ahead. This is the hand I want you to sting because this is the one that hurts the most. Sting that side. Sting it. Sting it. It's like everything else. They never do what you tell them. But I tell you what, these frames do get heavy and sticky with honey and whatnot. So remember, 2 weeks ago, my video, these frames were completely empty. So technically, I have, from what I looked at, 1, 2, 3, 4.5 frames that have drawn out comb on them and activity. The other ones have bees on there, but no, sting this side. Sting this side. So I figure if the bee's gonna sting you and die anyway, sting this side that you want stung. Because there is like a medicine that actually, I gotta get rid of this comb right here. That's some funky comb right there. Why are they doing that? I don't know. What causes that? I had my frames together, so I don't know why. Should I just knock that down, you think, Keith? Or what? What should I do? I don't know. Maybe I'll just leave it alone. Why are they doing that? You see how that's funky right there? Kind of strange. What would you do as a beekeeper? I do, yeah. But my hive is getting very, very much to the point where it's growing. That's which is nice. So I think I'll come out here next week and see if I need to add a super. But I wonder if adding a super right now would even bother them. You know, because, let me look at this one again. Because usually the frames on the outside are the ones that have the honey. This one here looks like a honey frame, to be honest with you. Because if you look in there, all that comb is nectar. So I bet you this frame is going to be all honey. And that's what your supers, you want your supers to look like that. You don't want any egg laying in there. You just want honey. And this one looks like all nectar. Well, I want to put this one on the outside. Maybe I'll do that. Nah. What if I turn it? I'm going to turn this one because I don't like the way they're building that comb. Let's put this down in slow. Slow. Okay, push that over. All right, let's look at these next 2-3 frames. I don't really see anything on there. I mean, there's a lot of bees on there, but they're not to the point where they're building comb yet. So this frame I slid over is empty. It's got bees on it, but as far as drawn out comb, it doesn't have. This one doesn't have drawn out comb on it. So pretty interesting. I do want to look at that bottom box and see if there's, of course I haven't seen any swarm cells on here, so that's good. Slide that down in there. All right, so let's just close this up. I don't think we're going to need a super today, because like I said, we only have 1, 2, 3, 4.5, actually 3.5 frames. So in 2 weeks, it looks like they filled up the bottom and added 3 frames here. So one was, what did we say? 2 were brood, 1 was honey. All right. So we have these frames here. Put these back. Slide that in there. I think that's when they sting you the most, when they're agitated or you pinch one, you know, which is common, I guess. All right, let's see if we can push these over. Pushing over. Yeah, because these aren't touching right here. I got a big gap right there. Maybe that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think a lot has to do with where you buy your boxes at too. I didn't order these online. I bought them at a local store. I won't tell you which store, but I'm not real impressed with their carpentry work, because I had to put duct tape on here because it wasn't even, and I just don't think the frames fit in here tight enough, like the ones that you can buy online. So I'm sure as a beekeeper you learn either 1, to build your own frames to specs, or 2, find a reputable bee supply place that you're happy with their beehives. Or I may be just too, what's the word I'm looking for, OCD, I guess. But I think next year I'm looking into getting into the horizontal hive, which is, they say, less intrusive on the bees. So as you can see, it's kind of cloudy here today. So to me, I think you girls have been very, very well behaved. So I'm pleased with that. I thought you'd be really ticked off today with me, but you haven't been, so I'm pleased. Let's slide these over. All right, get this last frame in there. Try to get it from both ends. Let's see. I always want to make sure there's no bees around, so I don't squeeze them. So I have to look online. Some of you Georgia beekeepers probably, the guys that have been doing it for undergals have been doing it for a long time. You know exactly when the honey flow is. I mean, obviously there's honey, so what does it mean, honey flow versus non-honey flow? I believe honey flow is when there's enough nectar for them to store in pollen. So the pollen basically feeds their larva, feeds the other bees. So they turn pollen into bee bread, which they eat that. It's got a lot of protein or a lot of bee, benefits to it, the honey, all that stuff. So anyway, learning process. One day, like I said, I'll get the lingo down. I will also get my techniques down. So I guess it was pretty good that I got in here today. I was kind of concerned that they would grow really fast. They really haven't grown as fast as I thought they would be. I mean, granted, they still had 3 frames on the bottom deep. So that was probably a week's worth of bee work right there. And then they also filled up, 3 of these frames up here, which has brood in it and honey, which is interesting. So I think maybe the next time I inspect will be time for the honey super. All right, Mr. Guard Bee, I see you. I'm closing it up. All right, let's close this up. Let's write it down real quick. I'm gonna write down how many frames I saw. Oh, I can do that off camera. I'll do that off camera. Look, ladies and gentlemen, the biggest thing about this video is to get other people excited about beekeeping. That's what I really want. And you can see, I fumble around. I don't have the lingo down. I don't really talk technical. I don't even inspect my hives, I'm sure, the way I'm supposed to. But I'm doing it. It's fun. It's interesting. It's actually exciting. And that's the only way you can learn stuff. You got to get into it. You got to just, because the mind is a crazy thing. It'll actually talk us out of trying new things. We'll say to ourselves, well, I don't feel like it, or there's no way I can do that. But you never know unless you try it. That way, if you fail at it, you know that you can't do that. But I guarantee if you try, you won't fail, So if it's not beekeeping, pick up something that excites you. And I just pray that, these videos encourage you to do that. So I know they're not the best quality videos as far as, I would say editing and the video quality, but it is what it is, as they say. So again, I pray that this video inspires you to create or to get involved in something and just be happy. And I pray that God will bless your day and bless your week. So have a great one.